Today, not a riding video. Today, not a semi video. Today is an install video. We have the Toyota Tacoma. We finally have gotten to the point where we can start installing some of our racking system for our overlanding. Now this is the racking system, this is our overland tent, and those are the molly panels. So today we are going to focus on getting those, which we will open that box up in a second. But first we have to address this right here. Now Brian was over the other day and we've got a little work ahead of us. Yeah?
Yes, we do.
Yes. So this is kind of what we're up against here. So let's break this open here. Brian, if you want to grab this side here, there's a little lever underneath here. Pull it towards the center of the truck. It slides. Okay, and then we got to roll this up.
It's wet.
Yes, it is. Now, the thing that we ran into is, now with the rough country, you can use the tonneau cover. However, in order to install the racking system for the overland tent and stuff, you have to get this trim piece off the top of your box, because you actually have to drill a couple holes and install some nut-serts. So they don't tell you that, but make sure that if you do decide to get that maybe read through the description and determine what tools you need before you start, because this would have been installed weeks ago, but I actually had to buy a nut-sert tool to install that stuff onto the top of the bed of the truck so I can install everything. Either way, pain in the butt, wishing we would have had it done, but unfortunately that is not the case. So we have to actually, let's make sure you can see, we have to remove the tonneau cover itself in order to be able to get that trim piece off, because they overlap each other. If we run into anything serious, we will show you what we run into, but we are going to get some tools out and we are going to get started on this and start breaking this down so we can actually get that thing installed. Now, I'm hoping that it's this simple, and my concern is that once we get all the stuff out of here, that this trim piece comes off as easy as I'm hoping it comes off. Because that's the one thing that we do have to deal with, is that drilling holes in your paint job and stuff isn't exactly ideal. But if that's what it takes to make it happen, it is what it is. And if you guys are curious, this deck system, if you've ever thought about getting one, now this is the first generation deck system. I know they have a different version that allows you to extend the drawers a little further. It is great because we used it yesterday as far as like riding. You stuff your dirty, muddy clothes in there. We've got a recovery gear and stuff in there, and it is a very convenient tool to have in the back of your truck. A lot of guys say it's wasted space or whatever that is, but I don't know. I've been using it a lot and I like it. Okay, so if you have that style of tonneau cover, everything attaches in this rail system right here. Now you can get that rail system past everything, but it was getting bound up, it was getting snagged up. So I just ran the 13 mils out the rest of it, and then you can just pop the whole tonneau cover, and we just at this point got it out of the way. And then next step is we have to pop these off of here, which that's my biggest concern, because I'm sure there's little plastic pieces and everything that retain that to the top of your bed, and I'm hoping they all don't break. If anything, the racking system for the molly panels and Overlander tent actually gets bolted over the top of that, so if I break a tab or two, I still think it'll hold itself in place. Am I a huge fan of that? No, but you know, it is what it is. So next step, let's get those things popped off of there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes good.
Doesn't look like it is breaking.
No. And you can feel, when you're doing this, you can feel where the mounting points are. You can feel where the tabs are, or the fastening points. Still sketch. Okay. And that's all it is. Yep, just some plastic retainers. And then nothing got broke, nothing snapped. So if you do have to take them off yourself, guys, you just get a hold of the end of them and just pull it up there one stop at a time. So we're gonna get this other one pulled off of there. And then from there, we've got to get everything cleaned up. And then we're probably gonna pull the truck out. And then once we get the truck pulled out, we'll get the rack system put together. That way you have to actually set it up on top of here to mark where your bolts are to install your nut-serts. Next step, get this one off. And then once we start on the rack system, we'll pick it back up. Everything is laid out. We've got kind of everything. I will say this about the instructions. They make it kind of like follow the pictures, give you the general basics, and that's kind of what we're working with here. So we have to start assembling some of this stuff, and I'll show you over here, guys. We've got everything laid out. So we're gonna need some of these and some of these, and then I'll show you what we're up against here. So if you come over here, I'm actually gonna give Brian the camera here. These actually slide inside the rail system, like, well, they're supposed to slide inside the rail system, like so. You can move them where you need them to. So we need 2 for this one. Okay, that one fell out, so that's neat. We'll come back to that one. Okay, so then we've got this, goes here. We've got our end cap, and then got 2 on this end. Oh, I see what's gonna happen. If you ain't careful, it's gonna walk its way sideways, which is a no bueno. Now I will say this, guys. One thing I noticed, as you can see, this slides all the way down in there, or technically you could come out here. So I don't know, they don't really give you a description in regards to if that's all the way compressed or not. So I think we're gonna build all 4 of these, get it up on the truck when we get to that point, and then determine with the molly panels that we got if we have to actually open that gap up to make everything work. So we'll get these 4 assembled, and we'll be back. We're not sure if this is gonna have to be adjusted out further. So for now, we're gonna set these all pretty much centered. So that's one thing. Now I did use the screwdriver to slide these up inside the rail system to get them started. And we've got about 11-inch span. So we're gonna go 5.5 to be center. So we're gonna go, let's see, so we'll bring this down. And then so I'm going from the bottom of the post here to just about center. So if you don't set these all the same, then your crossbars that go across your truck, it's gonna be crooked. Set them all at 5.5. So like seeing, guys, I'm going from the top of the foot right there, the bracket, to the spout center-ish there. Obviously it may not be perfect, but then we're going 5.5. We're gonna set all those at 5.5, make sure they're all the same. And you see too, when you're installing this, guys, I will say this, that make sure that you lay them out like this, because obviously they have to be opposite. And what I mean by opposite, you have to build 2 with your center support facing this way and 2 with your center support facing this way. Otherwise, obviously it's not gonna work. We're gonna shut the camera down, finish up on our time lapse, get the rest of these put together. So this is where we're currently at. Okay, I'm gonna state a couple things. First off, when you read the instructions, they don't label anything as far as on the packaging concerned, but these bars are actually different lengths. So we needed, what did we figure out? The short ones on top and the long ones on the side, correct? So remember that if you are doing this rough country install, that the short runners go up on top and the long ones go on the bottom here. You know, so it's an extremely short difference. You know, there's not a big difference, but this is what we're running into as well. Now they don't make any indications on this in the instructions, but you can see that one side is sitting up on the rail on this side. One side obviously is not. Now we anticipate, or we know that these slide quite a ways up inside of the tube. So we are just going to loosen these Allens up on both sides. Now the big thing you have to be concerned about or watch out for in that regards, you don't want to just pull one side of this tube out to adjust. So we're going to try to take the same amount of bar out of each corner post to make up the difference so it does indeed sit like it's supposed to. It would be nice if they were just bolt it together and flop it up and it'd be done. But I think it is kind of cool that you have the ability to adjust it 100% to make sure that it sits on top of the bed rails like it's supposed to. So yeah, kind of a pain in the butt, but I think there's pros and cons to that. We're gonna get some more tools back out, adjust this out, and get this set up on top of the rail system like it's supposed to be. Yeah, actually, Brian, could you grab that deadbolt, that orange hammer? Okay. So that's even there. I think, yeah, that'll go out to where it needs to be. Okay. So I'll show you what I did, guys, here. Okay, so all right, thank you for your help, babe. Okay. So what I did, as you can see, is I just put a mark here, and obviously it's not perfect probably as far as the amount, but you can see I put a mark here. I think you can see that. It's right there in front of my finger. That way you can see it's pretty close to drawing the same amount out of those corner posts in order to get it where it needs to be. So we're going to finish tweaking this a little bit. We need a little bit more here. As you can see, we're still hanging off the edge. And then we're probably going to have to do the same thing with this bar to get it so we're hitting solid metal at that point of the truck as well. So kind of a pain in the butt, but it is part of building a custom truck. I'm having fun. I'm getting to the point where we can just about get this thing buttoned up, start drilling some holes in the truck, some nut-serts, and go from there.
There you go.
We've got all our holes marked. And it's important because there is no flex on these right here where you can adjust this and that rack and the upper. You don't have that as an option here, so they've got to be accurate, otherwise you're going to run into problems here. This is using an existing hole in the truck. So what I'm going to do is, you can see where I put a mark there in order to see where the center of my hole is, and then we've got the rest of these marked out. Now it is saying what did it say, 17-30 seconds, I believe? Yep, 17-30 seconds drill bit. I'm probably going to center punch it. I am going to center punch it, and then I'm going to probably start with something a little smaller and then move up to the 17-30 seconds. That's a pretty big freaking hole because these nut-serts, as you can see, they're pretty decent sized. So let's get our drill bits out, make sure we got the right one. If not, we'll go buy a new one, and let's start drilling some holes. Still a kind of unenjoyable feeling drilling holes in your truck. So if you've never used one of these, it's kind of sketch. You open it up, thread it all the way in, and then it's like pretty much, in a sense, a rivet gun. It's still... You gotta put some ooey on it.
Man muscles go.
Yeah, you gotta put some freaking ooey on that. Make sure we're good, and then it just right here. Threads out, and you've got Insta threads. Cool. First time I've ever used them, guys, so it's kind of cool. We did find some things out with this, that this is actually for a 5-foot box. I've got a 6-foot box, so we are making it work, and we kind of talked about it. We're excited that the fact that the rack itself is actually going to end right here. The tent is designed for that, but when we're going to be using the deck system for our overlanding, whether or not that's camping, our camping gear, in and out of this for riding gear, I think it's going to be kind of nice that it ends right here. That way you're not banging your head on it, you don't have the tent in your way. So is it right? Not necessarily. Is it going to work? It is. How do you feel, babe? Yeah?
I'm still recovering from the drilling of the holes.
Yeah, she's still recovering from drilling holes in the truck. I'm just trying to ignore it and go from there. Now it says we can use the tonneau cover. It showed that we can use the tonneau cover with that. So that'll be the next step. After we get these, then we have to drill holes in our plastic, get everything lined up, and then hopefully it works. So either way, we'll get those other 3-4 rib nuts in there and we'll be back. We are getting to the point of almost done. There's a bunch of little finessing and stuff that you got to do to get plastic pieces and everything to line up, and it's a little bit of a challenge to get everything to line up like it's supposed to.
Tries your patience a little. We'll give you just a forewarning.
Yes, it does. Like this one ain't quite right, and that one's not quite right. So we're gonna drill out our holes a little bigger and watch out, babe. What's nice is you do have a little bit of leeway when it comes to where your holes are under here, because you've got a pretty big foot pad. And we tried both ways as far as how you line up your holes or whatever the case is, and you're still going to be doing fine tuning. And I hope you don't have to fine tune enough that you can still hide the holes type deal. So, all right, babe, what are you doing? Finishing up some final touches?
Yeah.
Yep, so as you can see here, guys, she gets the glorifying, satisfying part of pulling the plastic off, but what is it filling up here?
This little groove here.
Yep, you can see it. Go ahead.
This is used to adjust the length so you can go smaller or bigger. So this has this little groove here to slide back and forth. There's one up top here.
Yep, and there's one
you probably can't see.
right up there.
One over here.
Yep, and then actually, guys, too, on some of the of these, you'll see these are flipped around the other way, so that groove is on the outside, and that's for like your slider accessory panels and some other stuff. Now, we thought about flipping them around the other way, but we're going to leave it like this for a little while until we switch it out, and it won't be long before we actually do switch it out, because we have some stuff right here. We did get everything lined up. It was a lot of finessing, guys. It was kind of a pain in the butt, but all in all, things seem to be going pretty well for drilling holes in your friggin' truck. So from here, we've got to try to get the tonneau cover reinstalled. And that's part of the reason why I went with the rough country, is because it showed in the images and stuff that they did have the tonneau cover, and then mine actually sits down inside on this rail, so there's no reason that I shouldn't be able to still use my tonneau cover and the decking system. What's that? What'd you do?
I cut it too short.
That's all right, as long as it's close. You know, I mean, and it's
really
not.
Bad.
Huh?
Looks really bad.
That's all right, babe. It's not the end of the world.
Or if I cut it a little smaller, we could just put another piece.
No, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I don't want to seam it together. So that's fine. And then this is what we were talking about. Once we get what's in that box, which will be an install video, once you get the tent and stuff up here, it comes to about here. So we use our decking system quite a bit, and that's what I was talking about. You're going to be able to get up on the back of the truck, possibly reach stuff from inside the tent or whatever the case may be. Still get stuff in the back of here, roll up your tonneau cover, get to your deck system. So even though it's technically made for a 5-foot bed, kind of glad that we did it this way. And I think it looks all right. What's that?
Take another one.
Take another one. Of what? Oh, you want another one? Okay. All right. There you go, babe.
Thank you.
That's why I would maybe measure it first and then snip it.
Well, the first one went fine.
Well.
I think I just didn't.
Yeah, because if you just set it up there, I'll even give you a hand. So I'm going to give the wife a hand measuring these out, because that's the one that you will see on top of the truck, or that's a little more important because we don't want water and stuff to get up there. So we're going to get this stuff installed, get to the tonneau cover, and then we'll be back in a bit.
So why don't you tell everybody what happened to your nuts?
What happened? I dropped my nuts.
Where did you drop them?
in the hole. I dropped them in the hole.
Well.
Anyway, we've got the deck system here, and we're almost to the point where the tonneau cover is completely installed. And right here, I'll take that, is where some of the mounting points are. And ask the wife if they drop down along this deck system, it is the abyss of nothingness. But it's a quick release for these deck systems, a couple screws. We were able to lift it up far enough and get everything installed. Rack system, it is like, it's solid. I'm not opposed to putting a tent on top of there. We're gonna finish buttoning this tonneau cover up, and then we will pick you up when we got tools put away, everything is finished, go through what we think, and we'll be back. It is on the Taco. It is on the good old Tacoma. Everything is buttoned back up. Everything is nice and secure. Let's go around the other side here. Got the scramblers warming up to get them pulled in the garage. But I do. I like it. I was kind of torn, you know. I wish it would have been for the long bed. I'm kind of bummed that I did end up getting one that is for the short box. But I think it is going to be beneficial, like I said, because we do use our deck system all the time. If you guys have ever been on the ropes as far as getting a deck system, I really do like it. It is, it's pretty badass. If you really like fishing and off-roading and camping and all that stuff, it has become extremely useful, a great tool. And we don't put a whole lot of stuff in the box. That's why we decided to put the tonneau cover back on. Whether or not that'll come off, not 100% sure. Stay tuned for some of the other upgrades we got. We do got some stuff that might be going on the side of this, which is in a box right over there. We do got the rooftop tent that's coming up here in a minute. And then we also have this as well. We do got some airbags going on the rear of this machine, which we will do a flex test whether or not it restricts how the suspension travels and flexes and all that stuff if we do install airbags. But by the time we add the tent, our gear, our camping stuff, both side or both wheelers, the trailer, it's going to start getting heavy, so we want to be able to protect or keep the ass end of this rig up so it safely travels us down the road. But with that being said, guys, it has been a long day. It has been a long couple days. If you made it to the end of this install video, I appreciate it. Hopefully some of these tips and tricks helped you out. With that being said, guys, don't forget, if you want, mash that subscribe, hit that thumbs up, hit that notification bell if you want to see content when we post. And like always, on to the next adventure.